Oh boy, it never ends. Jeopardy is now apparently racist. A contestant, I should say, on Jeopardy during the introductions. Have you seen this? He holds up, he'd won 3 episodes, and he held up the number 3 against his chest, but he did this in a way that's apparently associated with a white power or racist white supremacy signal, which is, instead of holding up 3, if you're looking on the video feed, instead of holding up 3 like this or like this, he held it up kind of like the OK symbol, and apparently that's racist. Anyway, so there's a bunch of fallout from this. Reminds me, as many things do, of a Seinfeld when Kramer is backed into the corner by the Van Buren boys, and he's holding the salt shaker, flashing the 8th president of the United States secret gang symbol, I guess, sparing him a beat down at the hands of the Van Buren boys. Welcome to the program. I am your host, Todd Huff. Email todd@toddhuffshow.com. And you can send your questions, your thoughts. What other game shows out there are now promoting white supremacy, I guess? todd@toddhuffshow.com. Adoration and praise also accepted. So let's just really quickly, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this morning. It's just, this is the stuff. We're told that the greatest threat to America is this threat of white supremacists, which, of course, white supremacy is a completely morally bankrupt ideology. As I've said before, this goes without saying. I don't know that there's anyone listening to my voice that is confused about white supremacy. I don't. Well, they might be confused as to the level of influence it has in today's world, but no one out there is thinking that it is a good thing. But white supremacy is not a good thing. It is morally bankrupt. It's an evil way of viewing the world. It's not correct. It is not a good thing to think that one race is better than another. This stuff all goes without saying, but nonetheless, it is out there, and it is a factor on the fringes. They keep giving these ideologies a platform, a microphone. They amplify their voices, thereby actually contributing to the problems that they say that that white supremacy is truly causing. As I've said before, we are all made in the image of Almighty God, and that is regardless of our race, regardless of all sorts of other characteristics about us. We all have the fingerprints of God upon us, and to embrace an ideology that says that one group is superior is morally incorrect, is intellectually incorrect. It misunderstands a lot. But to act as though this is just some sort of a widespread problem attacking America, it is a problem insofar as it is a real problem. It's not a problem insofar as we think we should talk about it or use it to distract from other issues. I would maintain that radical Marxism has a much bigger platform in America today, right? The Black Lives Matter movement is run by a group of individuals that are self-proclaimed Marxists. Marxism is an evil ideology. Yet we have people clamoring for this. We have people clamoring for communism. Now, if I say that, Todd, that's an exaggeration. Well, how is it any more of an exaggeration than claiming that white supremacy is some sort of a powerful movement in today's world? Marxism is insidious. It is. I am telling you right now, Marxism is inside the American church. Marxism, I'm not saying everywhere, but it has made its way into places like the church, local school boards. It has made its way there. I am not claiming it is, rampant in the sense that it's in every nook and cranny, but I am telling you that as a matter of fact, it's made it to town councils. It is everywhere. And meanwhile, we're supposed to be chasing the problems of white supremacy. To the degree that they exist, those ideas need to be defeated. And they routinely are, except they are embraced by those who want to embrace such an ideology. So let's look at Jeopardy here really quickly. This thing is totally ridiculous. So Jeopardy winner Kelly Donahue, that's a man named Kelly, not a female, calls a racist hand gesture a terrible misunderstanding. This is Fox 44 News. And it says this: 3-time Jeopardy winner Kelly Donahue issued a statement. So Kelly Donahue has to issue a statement after winning 3 days, $79,601. And after being the 3-day winner, coming on to his 4th episode, he places those fingers up against his chest, showing that he is a 3-day winner. But apparently he held the wrong 3 fingers up, and it's now considered a gesture of white power. So he goes to Facebook. And says this: I'm truly horrified with what has been posted about me on social media. I absolutely, unequivocally condemn white supremacy and racism of any kind. People who know me personally know that I am not a racist, but for the public at large, it bears repeating. I am not a racist, and I reject and condemn white supremacy and all forms of bigotry for the evil they are. It's shameful to me to think anyone would try to use the stage of Jeopardy to advance or promote a disgusting agenda. During the taping of my 4th episode, I was simply raising 3 fingers to mark my 3rd win. There was nothing more I was trying to indicate. By the way, he did the same thing after winning 1 episode and 2 episodes. I deeply regret this terrible misunderstanding. I never meant to hurt a soul, and I assure you I am no friend of racists or white supremacists. This reminds me a little bit of Drew Brees, which, what's a guy supposed to do, right? If he doesn't say anything, he's, see, we told you he's a racist. But Drew Brees saying there's no way he would ever kneel for the anthem, and then basically had to apologize. And then Drew Brees, former quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, I say former because he just recently retired, I think an all-around good guy. But, Drew Brees suddenly became woke. He became woke to all of the things he was doing. He just had no idea. That's the process. You get inundated with the attacks. You apologize because you didn't mean to offend anyone. Then you actually go and contemplate. You go and sit in a room. Maybe you hire even a group of Black Lives Matter approved therapists to help show you whatever level of white guilt you should have and all this sort of silly, ridiculous stuff. And you sit there and you realize, man, I'm just so much worse than I ever dreamed possible. So sorry. Now you become a woke warrior. Maybe that's the next. I hope not for this poor guy. He's just out there trying to play Jeopardy, win some money. And this is in response because of other Jeopardy contestants. So the other Jeopardy contestants actually wrote a letter condemning all this stuff. And yeah, we'll get to Rudy here in a minute, and Dershowitz and all this other stuff. But other Jeopardy winners here writing a letter complaining about this, concerned about this. This is what that letter says. Regardless of Donahue, that's the individual, on Jeopardy. Donahue's stated intent: the gesture is a racist dog whistle. Some of the first people to notice this were not affiliated with Jeopardy in any way. They were viewers who couldn't believe what they'd seen, captured it on video, and shared it to Twitter. Among them were people of color who, needless to say, are attuned to the racist messaging and not appreciative that the show allowed this symbol to be broadcast. It was perceived by people across demographic boundaries as a wink and a nod by white men about their superiority. And this is not a joke. This is not April Fool's Day. Leaving this message unchecked will encourage others to attempt similar things in the future. Is the production team of Jeopardy prepared for more of this? Prepared for more attempts to disguise contempt as innocent gesturing? Prepared for the backlash and ramifications should one of these moments ever become tied to real-world violence? That's a group of 460 people claiming to be former contestants of Jeopardy. I'm looking at the Daily Wire here. That's what they wrote. Now, look, if it turns out that this is what this guy was doing, I'm not saying that is not a good thing. But it is totally and completely reasonable that this guy was simply pointing out he had won 3 times. He did it after the first day. He did it after the second day. He did 1, he did 2, and then he moved on to 3. But he held his 3 fingers up in the wrong order. And that, of course, meant white supremacy, I guess. I mean, we're to the point where we can't, we're going to put our hands in our pockets. We're going to have to just look down at the ground when we walk, make the wrong type of eye contact. That might be considered racist. The wrong type of expression on your face could be deemed as a racial attack. It's totally absurd, the point at which we have reached here in America today. Jeopardy's being criticized for this because the guy held up it. Again, I've seen the picture. I haven't seen the full video, but it seems pretty clear to me what he was doing. But here we are. Again, if he was doing something regarding white supremacy, not good. I totally reject that. But to say that is the only possible explanation, to say that this guy is a racist because he held up 3 in a certain way on Jeopardy is quite, I don't know. It's just really a stretch for me. Timeout is in order here. When we get back, I want to talk about this raid that happened with Rudy Giuliani here. I believe it was on Friday. I want to talk about some reactions, including a reaction from Alan Dershowitz, who is not happy with this. We've also got Jim Acosta out there attacking Fox News, calling Fox News the, quote, BS factory. He didn't use the abbreviation there. He used the actual word, which is remarkable coming from a CNN anchor. We got that out there. We got all kinds of stuff here, as is usually the case on a Monday. We've got Stephanie Ruhle from, where is she? MSNBC, I think. I think that's where she is, attacking the governor of West Virginia for banning transgender females from competing in female high school sports. All sorts of things to talk about today. Quick timeout is in order, though, so sit tight. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. Yes, in fact, you are listening to America's Reality Czar. Back here in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Economy Heating, Air Conditioning and Plumbing, Care to Change, and Interior Construction Services by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, call my good friend Scott Veerkamp. Scott and his team have been helping people with their real estate needs since 1992, and he has sold literally thousands of homes for good families just like yours. For all your real estate needs, call Scott Veerkamp today at 317-979-4663. That's 979-HOME.
Haven't filed your taxes yet? You're in luck. But time is running out, so you need to act now. In the ongoing effort dealing with the pandemic, the IRS has officially extended the tax filing deadline to May 17th instead of April 15th. Tax payments can also be deferred until May 17th without any penalties and interest. With all of the changing regulations for the stimulus checks, PPP loans, mortgage forgiveness, and other changes with the COVID relief bills, this is the year to make sure you have everything covered. Midwest Tax Group is your local expert in everything taxes. 317-288-5260. They've been serving the Indianapolis area for over 10 years. They complete most tax returns within a week and will get you every penny you deserve. 317-288-5260. Can't come into one of their 4 office locations? Or prefer contact-free meetings and document preparation? Midwest Tax Group makes it easy to submit all of the necessary information without ever coming in person. Visit them online at mwtaxgroup.com for more information.
Hunting, fishing, bows, guns, ammo, safes, and more. The Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood has all the gear you need for your outdoor experience. We have a huge selection of brands that other shops don't carry, and a friendly, knowledgeable staff ready to answer all your outdoor adventure questions. At Outdoorsman Sports Shop in Greenwood, you can even hone your archery skills at our indoor shooting range. Find us online at outdoorsmansportshop.com. So get outdoors, but bring the right gear.
Welcome back. Do you remember when, I know you do, when President Trump was elected, actually when he was campaigning and he was talking about going after crooked Hillary and all this stuff. Remember this? And President Trump was actually elected and people were yelling at the universe, universe. How could you have us President Trump elected as president? And they did this every year. They probably still do it for all I know. Screaming at the universe because the universe allowed a President Trump. All this stuff, right? I mean, service dogs, coloring books, all these sorts of things to help people cope. College courses being shut down for a week so people could stay in their dorms and cry that Hillary Clinton was not president of the United States. Remember all this chaos and pandemonium and then Russian collusion? Remember all this? I know you do. It's hard to forget. It's been etched into your memory because you had to deal or at least witness some of these individuals out there living their lives as though their worlds were destroyed by President Trump becoming president of the United States. Well, once they kind of got their wits about them and realized we're going to have to fight this guy, and the first step is to just impeach him. Just before he even walks in the office, they were already desiring to impeach President Trump because Democrat politicians, first and foremost, are political warriors. They will do whatever it takes to win an election or to stop their political opponents whenever they are in power. That's why you never once heard about the filibuster when Trump. You notice that? Never once. We never heard how racist the filibuster was. We never heard how terrible it was that the simple majority could not rule in the Senate when Republicans had both the Senate and the White House. You never heard any of this stuff. No, that's reserved. That's reserved for when Democrats are in power. When Republicans are in power, bipartisanship becomes the most amazing term in the English language. That is the standard by which all politicians are to be judged. When Democrats are in power, then the narrative shifts. Then we talk about, well, we can't really have these arcane rules in the Senate whereby we have the opportunity to, we don't have the opportunity to govern by the will of the people. It's anti-democratic. That's the other thing. That's what they call these things. So that's a different world when different people are in charge through the narrative of the media. But when Trump was president and he talked about making sure Hillary was held accountable for all the stuff that we had uncovered or things that we had learned about the Clinton Foundation and all of this alleged pay-to-play stuff, Trump said she's going to be held accountable and all this, and nothing ever happened. But when he said those words, remember when people like Dershowitz, who, by the way, whatever you think of Alan Dershowitz, I feel he's quite consistent on these things. He doesn't want the party who wins elections to go after the party or individuals, the candidate, who loses elections. And by the way, I agree with that. Now, at the same time, we shouldn't allow the fact that someone is a candidate to interfere with legitimate, if they've really committed a crime, they shouldn't necessarily just be immune from any consequences whatsoever. That's not a way to ensure that politicians behave legally, ethically, and morally. But he's right. You don't want people in power going after their political enemies. That's the sort of stuff that you would find in, the communist regimes that some of these leftists so eagerly desire. Castro, Stalin, a fascist regime like Nazi Germany. This is the sort of behavior you would see there. But people cried like crazy when Trump talked about going after Hillary. And to a certain extent, that is not wrong. Except to the point that insofar as that they would have been breaking laws, we also want there to be accountability for people breaking laws regardless of who they are. So Dershowitz, I guess I'll start here. Dershowitz has some things to say about this, but let's first understand what happened. So Rudy Giuliani had his home and office searched by the FBI, and they took his phones and computers. I'm looking here at an article in the New York Times dated April 28th. Federal investigators on Wednesday seized cell phones and computers from Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York City, who became President Donald J. Trump's personal lawyer, stepping up a criminal investigation into Mr. Giuliani's dealings with in Ukraine. 3 people with knowledge of the investigation said. FBI agents executed search warrants around 6 a.m. Reminds us of the Roger Stone raid at Mr. Giuliani's apartment on Madison Avenue and his Park Avenue office in Manhattan, carting away electronic devices, Mr. Giuliani confirmed in a statement. The execution of search warrants this is the New York Times, by the way. The New York Times recognizes how rare and how uncommon that this really is. The execution of search warrants is an extraordinary action for prosecutors to take against a lawyer, let alone a lawyer for a former president. The move marked a major development in the long-running investigation into Mr. Giuliani, which examines some of the same people and conduct that were at the center of Mr. Trump's first impeachment trial. So there's a lot more the New York Times says about this, but that's what happened. Rudy's son writes a piece. Well, I had that somewhere in here. Bear with me. There it is. Rudy's son wrote a piece in, it's also the New York Post. Yeah, the Washington Examiner. Andrew Giuliani wrote on Friday in an op-ed, "The dawn raid on my father's home is Biden's political intimidation at work." The same sort of intimidation that people decried when it would have been Trump going after Hillary in 2016. He writes this: during Joseph Stalin's reign in the Soviet Union, the dictator staged the Moscow trials, which put prominent members of his political opposition on trial. Denied any kind of due process. Who out there is cheering for the elimination of due process, by the way? There were people cheering for the end of due process when it came to Officer Chauvin. Remember, we had people out there like Chelsea Handler who said, why do we even need to give this guy a trial? We saw it on video. Just basically throw him in prison. That's what she was out there saying. Very American. American thing to do, I guess. That's in her warped worldview. We also have, remember the mayor or the city manager, I guess, for the community outside of Minneapolis, Brooklyn. I always forget the name of the second part of the name, but Brooklyn, it's not Brooklyn Park, but where there was an officer that shot by accident, it appears, still killing a young man, a young black man, when the city manager came out and called for due process. They fired the city manager. So that's to the point here of Andrew Giuliani, what's happening again, but this time pertaining to his father, Rudy Giuliani. But denied any kind of due process, most of the defendants were charged with crimes against the Soviet government. Several were sentenced to death. These show trials, which often centered on the defendants' collusion with foreign powers, were a late step along the road to Stalin's mass purges. Stalin, truly wicked, maniacal, evil man, killed, according to reports and studies in history, up to 20 million of his own citizens. We don't even know, right? There's Soviet gulags, executions. If you disagreed with the government, if you wanted to believe in Jesus or anything like that, any threat the government perceived from you for not towing the communist line and worshiping both Stalin and the communist government, they would either throw you in hard labor camps or kill you, basically. And that's what Giuliani's son is writing about here. When federal agency continues, raided my father's home at dawn on Thursday morning, the Biden Justice Department was sending a clear message to America. If it can happen to the former mayor who led New York City through 9/11, it can happen to you too. This raid, he writes, like Stalin's tactics, was conducted for the sake of imagery intended to have symbolic significance. So he's out there saying this is smoke and mirrors. This is designed to make a point. This is designed to intimidate both Giuliani and the political opposition to Democrats. The same thing that they were crying about Trump was going to do. Now just think about this. The same thing they said Trump was going to do. And if Trump did this, it would have been the end of democracy. And I'm not saying Trump should have done this. Do not misunderstand me. I'm just saying how the narrative changes once different people are in power for the left, for the media, is truly a remarkable thing. If it is bad for Trump to go after political opponents after he wins power, so too it is true. It is wrong for Biden and the Biden Justice Department and the Democrat Party to go after those political opponents when they are in power as well. So Dershowitz has some things to say about this, and I'll get to that after the break, but I do have to take a time out. By the way, I'll mention here this program is brought to you in part by our friends here at Hayes & Sons. Hayes & Sons they specialize in water restoration, smoke restoration, fire restoration. They're one of our newer advertisers, and it is a pleasure to have them on the program. Hayes & Sons, again, specializing in cleaning up messes that may affect your home, business, school, community, all different, wherever you work or live. Hayes & Sons is there to help clean up the mess. HayesandSons.com, 317-788-0911. Got to take a break. Come back and continue after this. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Unhappy with your CPAP machine? Now you have an alternative. The docs at Indy Dental Sleep have an oral appliance that treats snoring and sleep apnea. They begin with an in-home sleep test that is diagnosed by a sleep physician before prescribing your appliance. And it's covered by most medical insurance plans. It's preferred 20-1 versus CPAP. Call 317-888-4036 and start getting the sleep you need. Or visit IndyDentalSleep.com.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 down, bucket of $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Welcome back. So we've got the search warrant issued on Rudy Giuliani, executed at 6 a.m. last week, Wednesday morning. Rudy's son says this is an act of intimidation. This is a symbolic sort of thing designed to intimidate people who are in the political minority now, or at least out of power. And Dershowitz is out there also pointing something else out, which I think is actually quite important to point out. Dershowitz says, look, the information that is contained on the things seized in the search warrant don't need a search warrant. They actually need a subpoena. They need the court. So Giuliani, as the attorney for Trump, the information on the electronic devices is privileged and confidential because of attorney-client privilege. And this is something that courts and our judicial system in general take quite seriously. Attorney-client privilege, doctor-client privilege, clergy or, counselors or people who may have access to information or not, that information is privileged. And Dershowitz is basically saying, look, if they really wanted this, it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate for them to use a search warrant because they need a subpoena. They need a court to say you can actually see the information, not just that you can search the premises for information. You have to subpoena it so that you're able to actually look at it. Dershowitz said this when being interviewed on the Cats Roundtable podcast over the weekend. In banana republics, in Castro's Cuba, in many parts of the world where a candidate loses for president, they go after the candidate, they go after his lawyers, they go after his friends. That's happening in America now. They're going after Rudy Giuliani. A search warrant on a lawyer or a doctor or a priest, he asks. You don't use search warrants. You don't use search warrants when people have privileged information on their cell phones and in their computers. You use a subpoena. The difference between a subpoena and a search warrant is like night and day. It's just not constitutional. You just can't search whatever you want. Sometimes the court has to give you permission to do so. Not just search for the item, but actually if you obtain the computer, you have to get permission from the court to actually review the privileged information. So that's what's going on here. And you have to ask yourself, is this the type of country that we want America to be? If you look at the amount of opposition that is forming or that is in place now against conservatives or Republicans, it can be daunting or intimidating to some. It's some big, powerful groups. You've got publishers that are not, you have the publishers at, what was it, Simon & Schuster, I think. I could have had this wrong, but I think it's Simon & Schuster. A couple hundred employees are demanding that Simon & Schuster stop publishing books by people in the Trump administration. You've got social media silencing. Anytime Donald J. Trump is being interviewed on social media or anything, being interviewed and then posted to social media, they'll take that thing down in a heartbeat. President Trump, former President Trump, has been taken off of effectively all social media platforms. He's been silenced there. You look at the Donald Trump witch trials with what happened in the impeachment, both the impeachment cases. I mean, this goes on and on. The attempts to silence and intimidate are actually quite remarkable. Even to the point to where, as I've touched on it before, the way that I think sometimes conservative Christians are tricked into or pressured into not sharing their political beliefs. Separation of church and state. Well, sometimes things that become political, politics does not own the patent on being able to decry or claim anything that's within its jurisdiction. Just because someone says something is political does not mean that, say, a Christian viewpoint is not permitted on the issue. If the Bible says something about it, that's God's prerogative. It's not some judge in the Ninth Circuit or some such thing. But it's all around. And really the question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to cower and capitulate? Are we going to allow them to silence and misdirect, misrepresent what we say? Or are we going to continue to try to proclaim truth and to share our political ideas without fear? Because it's amazing what will happen when people are not allowed to share political viewpoints other than those viewpoints of those in political power. Between all of that, between what they want to do with election law, between those things and how they want to cram down some of these legislative bits of information, or I should say bills, these legislative agendas and so forth, the way that they want to change election law, the way they want to get rid of the filibuster, the way that they want to say that certain things are eligible for budget reconciliation to force their agenda down the throats of the American people. The more that they silence us, the more that we are unable to effectively fight back. So, sit tight. Continue our discussion after the break. Be back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Our sense of smell stimulates memory and emotion. A scent can seemingly transport us to another place in time. Homemade, hand-poured candles and melts from spur-of-the-moment creations will give your nose the experience the rest of your body is missing during any season of the year. Crackling firewood, fresh-cut grass, Macintosh apple, and even racing fuel are some of their over 200 engaging fragrances. Visit spurofthemomentcreations.com and enter coupon code TODD at checkout to receive 15% off your order today.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
Know someone looking for a fun summer job? We're now hiring lifeguards around the Indianapolis area. Make a difference while meeting new people, build your teamwork skills, and spend time outdoors. We offer lifeguard certification classes. To find out more, go to indianapolis-pmg.com and choose the lifeguarding menu option. That's indianapolis-pmg.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Foreign Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corn Homes, family owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Welcome back. Jim Acosta, good old Jim Acosta, CNN, fake news CNN who's just been exposed by Project Veritas. They must be feeling the heat. Because CNN puts Jim Acosta out there over the weekend to basically try to project the guilt that CNN is facing, the guilt that CNN has firmly right upon its lap. They want to project that onto Fox News. Jim Acosta, the clip that I have is unedited, so I'm not going to trust my trigger finger here to hit the button quickly enough to bleep it. But he says, he calls Fox News the bull excrement, the BS factory. The audacity of that. For him to say that about Fox News when CNN has been exposed completely for what it is. CNN, the only reason to watch CNN is to understand, to study propaganda. To look at CNN as a legitimate source of news at this point, knowing what we know about tough guy Chris Cuomo, listening to what we've heard come from the lips of Don Lemon, listening to how Jeff Zucker runs his meetings and instructs his journalists to do whatever it is that he wants them to do. Listening to these things, listening to the Project Veritas expose where they have admitted on tape, on video, that they wanted to get Trump out of office and that they were successful in doing that. Listening to them brag and kind of pound their chest over that. And to think, we still view this as a source for unbiased news, the most trusted name in news. Give me a break. And now Acosta has the audacity to say that it was another mind-boggling week in disinformation at Fox News, which is the, as he puts it, the BS factory. Pot meat kettle. Back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Weddings, reunions, business, church, or family retreats, Indiana Paradise Retreat is a hidden gem located right here in central Indiana. With over 11,000 square feet, a theater, gym, sauna, hot tub, pool, stocked lakes, and even an on-site event hangar, we have just the place for your next event. Find us on Airbnb, VRBO, or just search for Indiana Paradise Retreat. We look forward to seeing you soon.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and this of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279. Or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep. There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual. Welcome back, my friends. By the way, program brought to you in part by our friends at Interior Construction Services. Looking to renovate or refresh your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services or visit them online, interiorconstruct.com. That's interiorconstruct.com, or call 317-991-4660. Folks, we have, of course, a massive political battle on our hands here. And the odds are, of course, being stacked against us each and every day. But fear not, truth is on our side. Truth is on our side. And if people just hear truth communicated in a way that makes sense and articulated in a way that's consistent and logical, they can be persuaded. Some folks cannot, but some can. I've got to go. Thanks for listening. STG. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Are you looking to purchase waterproof flooring for your home? Did you know it's as easy as typing rnrproducts.com/Todd in your search engine for a great deal on our core tech line? Since 1971, R&R Products has provided brand name products at an affordable price to the listening area. Call 317-745-5794 or go online to rnrproducts.com/Todd. R&R Products. We make your flooring experience easy and affordable.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? There is a cure. With the Pro-Life Health Plan, your savings could be as much as 60%. The Pro-Life Health Plan allows you to enjoy the freedom of choosing any doctor, any hospital, anywhere. And their enrollment is open year-round. Just give Eric a call at 888-448-5370 or visit them online at isellhealth.com. Better coverage at a better cost.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.